Imagine a logo flying across the screen. The logo says Rubber Duck Engineering.
Dun dun dun.
Hi, Eric. How are you?
I'm okay. It's a pandemic and all that. I've been sick for most of the time since you last saw me. It turns out, even in a pandemic where you leave the house with double masks on, you can come back with other things that are not, the current festivities.
How are you feeling now?
I'm on meds and I'm feeling mostly put back together. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. It's always nice, see your face.
I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming. Thank you, viewers, for joining us.
Yeah, it's nice to see everybody. So yeah, anything new in your exciting world? How's the pizza?
We actually made 3 pizzas tonight, and and I did a Zoom with my parents, who have also acquired the same pizza book and are trying to make the recipes work. But for some reason, when they make the dough, it comes out really sticky, and it kind of like falls apart and makes a mess. And so, trying to debug sticky dough over Zoom is, well, it's a little challenging.
I feel quite at one with dough now. Towards a year into this or whatever, because I too picked up the sourdough pandemic hobby. I'm in fact going to make some tomorrow, but I made 100 at least loaves or something like that in the last year. Wow. So I feel a lot more bread capable than I did before.
It's like 2 per week. That's a pretty good clip.
Well, you just make them. I make 2 at a time because it does better in volume, and then I give them away to neighbors. Because if I ate 100 loaves of bread in a year, there would be a lot of me.
There would be a lot of you. That makes sense.
But no, it's very good to have neighbors to practice on. It's very important in one's baking training. So
Eric, what are our goals for this episode?
Well, we've been off on a bit of a journey, I think, since we were in the middle of building a Pangram game.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the last time we touched this dial, I think we set out to do URLs, but then ended up doing something else instead. And then we had a couple episodes where we didn't do the Pangram game. Tonight, the plan was to come back to the Pangram game and actually deliver on the URL-ness.
That sounds like a good plan. Yeah, I kind of want to get it to the point where someone could like tweet about it. Like they used the Pangram, they did something, and then they could send an interesting tweet capturing something about their experience.
Mm-hmm. And so in preparation for this, not before this episode, it's been weeks since I touched this code, but a couple weeks ago, I started playing with, because we're doing the Pangram game in Flutter, if you're just tuning in, on the web. And Flutter introduced a new navigator paradigm, which is like a lower level access to the like URL handling that Flutter does. And I've not actually used it because I do other parts of Flutter in my day job. And so I did spend a little bit of time with the tutorial. I've gotten some example code wired into our project. I sort of grok what it's doing, but I haven't yet adapted it to our project. So
do you want to show it to us, or show the example code running, and then we can try to figure out how it works?
Yes. Let me turn on the code machine.
To the code machine.
So this is the GitHub machine, which is not the machine we want. Here we go. Question is, did it actually launch the Chrome? Yes, here we go. So this is the example code turned on. And if we click on Foundation, you see that
it the URL.
Changes the URL.
And can you edit?
Go ahead, sir.
I was going to ask if you could change the 1 to a 2. Boom.
So this behavior is not exactly what I would want. Like, I don't know if I want this transition. But anyway, we can figure this all out. But we have the basics here, because I think the default Flutter old style navigator only deals with sort of the internal URL handling of Flutter. And if you wish to be on the web and deal with translating those URLs out into the browser's notion of the URLs and back and forth, you need to use this newer paradigm, which, as I said, is written at a lower level. So is a little more involved to use.
Okay. Should we look at the code and try to figure out how it's doing all that?
So if we go to example.dart, this is the example.
Someone's at front door.
Pardon my devices.
Your smart home is it's quite intelligent.
It's a little too smart sometimes. Okay, so this is not actually called, because we call this from. You can see I hacked this in. I go all the way up to our actual main.dart. I hacked that code into our actual main. So this code isn't called, could be deleted. And then, let's see, this is a route information parser.
Okay.
This goes from the internal representation out to a browser URL, I think.
I see. Oh, it has. Oh, I think we looked at this last time. It has these like two functions that are the inverse of each other somehow.
Yeah, you have to go both ways in the new navigator-ness. So one is you have to provide a delegate. And this is like, give me the current something, T, right? Give me the current like digestion of where we are.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this set from the digestion of where we are. Turn it into, is this right? Oh, no, sorry. This is take the digestion of where we are and apply it to our app.
Okay.
This thing. This is not like official documentation. This is I'm replaying back to you my limited understanding of this code. We go read the actual docs. So, okay, so it looks like this. Get our current digestion of where we are. This is some sort of
the
build based on that.
Okay.
I think.
Makes a lot of sense.
And this is based on some stored digestion of where we are. Maybe this is for like the history stack, I could imagine.
I see. So in the Pangram game, instead of a book route, we'll have like a board route path or something.
Yeah, let's look at see what board route path is. So this thing, again, this is the T. This is something that someone defined. If your ID is unknown, okay?
I see. So details is like, I see. So we probably need like a home page and an unknown, and then details, I guess, is equivalent to our board state or something.
I think so. And then we just had seen the other path, the other way as well, where we go. This is the route information parser. Where here we're getting overriding, parse route information. Aha. So this is not type T, right? This is coming from the framework somewhere.
Okay.
Route information. And we're supposed to parse that and turn it into one of our understandings of this thing.
Okay.
And then here again is restore based on our understanding, spit back out a
location.
A location, yeah. A URL, basically. A thing that the framework will turn into a URL, it appears.
Okay. I mean, this is making a certain amount of sense. I kind of want to try it and see where our understanding is going to break down.
Well, I wonder if we should just like copy this into our own like router. Like just.
Maybe go ahead. I was thinking maybe we do like a split screen where we keep the example code on one side and then we try to translate it into our world on the other side.
Okay. I think that's split screen. Whoa. Much good. Okay. I'm going to create a new file. Router.dart, something like that.
Okay.
I know you said split screen, so what what I'm going to do, I'm sort of...
Squeak, squeak, squeak. Your mouse still has the squeak, Eric. I love it.
We lost it for a while, and then it got it back just in time for today.
I was always told that WD-40 and duct tape were the two solutions to every problem. And this to me sounds like a WD-40 problem, not like a duct tape problem.
Not a duct tape problem? I believe that. This is more in the WD-40's wheelhouse. All right. So this is going to be a...
We know our book route path, right?
Route path.
Okay.
Right. Class. And...
Can we look at the book route path on the other side to try to see what ours should be like?
I mean, we could just start with this. And I don't know if I try and rename it here, is it going to rename it in the other place too? It's my worry.
Try it. See what happens. We can always undo it, right?
I guess even if it does rename it in both, maybe I don't care.
It's thinking.
I mean, it sort of should. It thinks they're both part of the same project. It is really thinking about that.
Oh no, it totally just did just what you wanted. That's great.
Okay, good.
Okay, so instead of int unknown, I feel like we want like a do we just use string to represent the string form of a board, or do you have another type for that?
Oh, I don't even remember. This is
many.
See. Oh. Well, and also, is it the board or is it the game?
Why don't we start with
board?
Yeah, let's start with just board, so you can share the board that you played. Because you had JSON, to and from JSON.
Which can be a string too. But let's see. Wow, it's been a while since I've been in this code. Board ID.
Oh yeah, there you go. So it's a string.
Is that sufficient? So that would allow you to say, hey, go play this too. It will not allow you to say, look at my high score, or...
Well, why don't we start here and then we can add more elaborate state to it.
I support starting simple. Okay. So string ID.
All right.
Okay.
Detail. So first should change details to board.
This needs to import.
Let's rename this to board.
Widgets. Okay. Oh, the is details page.
Yeah, so this is like is board page. Should I try to rename it? Is it gonna go crazy?
Go for it. I have no idea whether it works from your side.
Oh, I did something.
Okay. I want to rename this to board route.
Yep.
I think maybe it's pangram route information project. Like, I don't know.
So what is this doing now? So this is...
We still have all this book stuff down here, but get that. All right, so
this looks somewhat reasonable, right? Like parse it if it's empty, otherwise... Oh,
set a book on board.
Right.
Board or?
Well, I think board, like maybe there could be different, like one could be a board and maybe one could be a game. Like it might be different things depending on what it is.
It's fine. We can start with this. There are numerous, for anyone watching this and being like, whoa, really? I have to do this in Flutter too? There are numerous packages on Pub that provide a like sugar layer on top of this. We're just going straight to the metal. What is details here?
Board, I think.
Okay.
Do we want to try to actually... Okay, that's just fine.
Oh, I see. This ID is not int try priors. This is just remaining.
This is like board. Well, we want to check that it's has valid syntax. Otherwise, we want to go to unknown, right? So we want the board object to be able to validate the ID.
Okay. Should this know about the board object? Like, I wonder if board route path should be the thing that, like, might also proxy to board, but like does the validation.
Okay, we can put the validation there.
It's like board route path that is valid string. Cool, and then I don't know if this is static or not.
Well, it kind of feels like I want to have like a parse function or something like it's like a factory.
Oh,
because it's either going to give you unknown or it's going to give you
parse ID.
Yeah, well, it's parse string, right? So like, if the string works out, otherwise, if it doesn't work out, return unknown.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I like that. That's slick. And then this just becomes return board route path parse remaining.
Yeah, I don't know if you want this colon here. You just want to strip out that colon.
The colon, I don't think is real. I think if we look
I see.
Right, I think this is just using route syntax.
Okay, that's cool.
Like that's identifying that's a variable name as opposed to a. Back from my Rails days, 15 years ago or whatever, I remember using syntax like this. And I think this is actually a relatively common router syntax these days.
So what is this test that we should do here? So like the string.length be equal to 8 and string one thing has to be equal to colon.
Oh, I think you just I think you're right. You just ask board. I just think you want to hide it from.
Oh, I see. You asked board.
I think this class should be hidden from. It's not this class's job to know that board exists.
I see. So we need a board.parse.
Sure. Or I don't even know if it parses. Like, what does this need to? I don't think this needs to parse the board out. It just needs to know that it's a valid ID.
Just say like board.is valid ID.
Oh, are we?
String.
I actually wonder if we're doing this wrong because maybe it should just decide. Oh, that's a board route path. That's fine. And then when it tries to go there, the board itself just redirects. Be like, sorry, you gave me an invalid path.
Mm-hmm. Let's run with this for a little while. This seems reasonable to me. We need to import board. I'll go implement board is valid.
Delegate the router widget with initial route. Yeah. I don't see this in. I want to just like go read the docs a little bit. The router widget calls the parse route information with the route information from router route information provider. What is router route information provider? Oh, that's the other class. I think it would be fascinating to read the design doc on this.
Also implementing board.fromID.
Sorry, I'm off on a trying to understand. Trying to get into the head of the author here and learn more.
Oh, this isn't going to work. Never mind. This way.
Okay. Or Navigator introduces the concept of pages to the Navigator and divides the routes managed by the Navigator into two groups. Some routes are backed by a page, others are not. And what's a page?
I see there are things in the history stack.
Navigator inflates a page into a route object.
I mean, I guess this is, we talked about learning styles in the last episode. This is the learning styles of reading a 21-page document is sort of opposite of my learning style, which is to try to like.
No, I agree. What I'm missing from the docs as written is like why. Like, and I probably just haven't found the right part of the docs, but I don't understand the like theory here. That's why I was going to the design doc.
Well, it makes sense to me that you want to have a object that can translate back and forth between strings and some application representation of what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
you have to put your sort of parsing serialization logic somewhere, and you want to go both ways, right? Because you want to take your complicated object and splat it up to the URL bar, and also take the URL and splat it back to an object.
But for example, this decision that we're making here, like, is this is the thing that this route information parser spits out? Is it just like a regex markup, or does it also need to do validation? Am I making any sense?
I think that this. Well, if you go look at the example, it's doing the validation, because if it can't parse the details as an int, then it says that's unvalid. Yeah, it just, instead of an int, the like try parse function, we have a slightly more complicated valid ID function.
Okay, I'm not sure I would want to over-index, but that's fine. We can continue down that route. So you said,
I don't know if the example is correct. I'm just sort of following it with my nose.
Okay, you were writing the is valid ID, or
I think I wrote it. I'm not sure why it's sad. Oh, because I didn't call it is valid ID. I call it is valid. How about that?
Okay.
I didn't complete. Yeah, it's not a perfect validation, but it's a rough first cut.
Great. Okay, so I think we think we're done with this one, parse route information.
Okay.
And this looks fine too, except instead of book it should be board.
Okay. It's sort of funny that it puts 404 in the path, but that's fine, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we could just call it error or something like that.
Yeah, to me 404, it's like we like drop down one level in the protocol, but whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so what is this thing doing? Selected book.
So this thing is going to have a build function on it, right?
It appears to.
Okay.
This is the router delegate. It's give me the current path for this.
So I think this thing should hold a board. Or do we have boards or game states in our app?
So a board just describes, you can build a game from a board, but it will like come with no words solved. Right, so the game's job is to add all that other junk on the side, and I think the other junk is mostly the number of words solved.
I see. So this thing should at least hold a board, so we can start there.
I think it ends up holding a game, but
I think we could start there if you're sure that's correct.
Well, the question is, does this become our root build method? Like, what's it doing
Maybe.
here? Navigator? Material page. Oh, there's this new pages thing, right?
Yeah, so I think we want like a game page or a board page that will then actually do the interesting gameplay. This thing is trying to like be a something near the root of our app.
Mm-hmm. On pop page. Okay, I see. Yeah, this is trying to be super rooty, or whatever.
Yes, and our other, this is the thing that my app was doing before. So this widget is the new my app.
Is it though? Like books?
I think so. If you go look at my app in main.dart, it's got a similar sort of thing around line like 60, line 70 and such.
I think yeah, it was just. I'm sorry, main.dart. I can do it this way actually. Main.dart.
Yeah, check out around line 70. So my app is doing a similar thing where it's building each of the pages.
Ah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And this is a stateless widget, whereas the Books app creates a Books app state, makes a material app router. So this becomes it.
Yeah.
Okay. I can buy that.
So is our plan should we like copy Books app into main.dart and then try to comment out like my app and then try to line the things up, or how do you want to? Because at some point we're going to want to use the code that we have in main.dart.
I'm sorry. Copy this into main.dart? Yeah, we can easily do that. Like this is the trivial part. It's fixing this. It's harder.
Okay, so should we try to fix that?
Yeah, let's try and fix this Books router delegate to make any sense. I don't know that.
Yeah, I feel like we've over-indexed on board, but that's fine.
Yeah, I think this is going to end up being like Pangram router delegate or something, right?
Yeah, so change it now. So I think that's right. We have a comment in the chat encouraging us to try Godot again in the near future, and I think we will. I had a good time with Godot. This is our lovely viewer who comments on a large fraction of our YouTube videos, suggesting that we play more with Godot, and I appreciate the suggestion. It was really good.
Yes, Godot was fun. Okay, Pangram router delegate, and
we want like selected board or selected game state.
This doesn't make any sense. These books here.
Correct. That's a thing that we're going to replace with the server.
Sure, but we're also not going to display a list of them either. Right? This screen doesn't exist.
Yes.
In our world. I also just wonder, like, does this even belong here? Like, why does this thing parse a book? There may be lots of other things to parse.
That's true, but like this thing holds the materialized object. So what's going to happen is we're going to get this board route path or whatever. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to have to take the ID off of it, give it to the server, and get back an actual board. And then we got to hold that somewhere. And I think we want to hold it at least for now on this object.
Yeah, you would think you'd want to pass it down into some lower object, because this, I think its job is to do like high-level routing. Like, am I going to the stats page? Am I going to the board page? Am I going to the...
Okay, so do you want to just hold a board route path then? In order to, if you scroll up just slightly, oh, sorry, if you look on line 80, this object is going to have to answer the question, what is the current configuration? So the simplest way to do that is we could just hold a board route path as current and return it. We may need to do something more sophisticated.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah, it's a little bit off what the example is doing, but I think it's at least a place to start.
Okay, can I rename this to also the pangram route path? Because I think we're deciding that board
Yes,
was wrong.
Yes, I think that's a good idea, because it's going to have to represent anything that the app can show, which may include like a high score page or like any number of interesting things.
Information is such a long name. And this board route path is going to be pangram route path. Okay.
And then I'm going to keep renaming stuff. So this ID is now board ID.
Sure.
And then this parse is now parse board, because we could parse other kinds of things in the future.
Totally.
I'm not sure my renaming worked here.
Access board ID, right?
Yep. Oh, good. This is board.
Okay.
Okay.
Looks good.
So, yep.
Okay. And all right, we're deleting this.
Well, I think we're replacing that with pangram route path. It's like current.
But is it going to be nullable?
Well, we could try with a not nullable and initialize it to
I think
unknown.
it's route path, and it's equal to
I guess home would be the place to start, right?
home or unknown, but yeah. Okay.
I feel like unknown is like an error condition, like it's a thing you wish the user never saw. So
Okay.
So let's get rid of the show 404. We don't need that anymore. And then get current configuration can now just return route path and get rid of all this.
Okay.
Then the build. What are we going to do for build here?
I see. Okay.
So set new route path has now become easy. Well, we'll come back to that, I guess.
Yeah, so build, as you say, build should mostly delegate.
Right.
This function should be super short, as short as we can make it.
Right.
So you don't need a selected book. This books list page we don't have. This is home, really, is what this is, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this needs to be material page, and we just call it home. I don't know what books list screen. Fold an app bar, right?
I see. It's treating this as like an array.
These pages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the show 404, like why is that?
Well, this is going to be, what is
like
it called?
A stack?
Route path dot is unknown. We want to show the unknown page. Else if route path that is board page, then show the board page somehow, passing the board ID.
Board details page.
So this is the thing we should have in our main.
Oh, interesting. This extends page to create a route.
Mm-hmm. Right. So this is gonna be our board page, right? We have a board to show. Let's show the board page.
Mm-hmm. And so we could copy this.
Okay.
This is probably a game, honestly.
So this books list screen, this is like the home screen, right?
The books list screen is the home screen. That's correct. And the difference between screen and page in this example's parlance is that screen is a scaffold on down.
Okay.
And page is an implementation of this page concept from the router.
Okay.
So like screens are easy to build. We just take some sub scaffold and we turn it into a.
Okay, so let's get rid of the tap handler for now. We can add it back later as we need it. So we have a home screen. So this should be I see board page.
Wow, that's wild because we have to route all like taps up through this thing. Not all taps, but like link taps up through this thing.
It seems like there should be a more direct way of doing it.
No way to like tell the navigator, oh, by the way, use this thing.
Let's keep going here.
All right.
So why do we need a board page? Why can't we just make a material page that has a child that is the board? What in the example? What is the book details page do that's special?
This down here. It overrides create route to make a material page route that includes settings. This I don't know what settings this means.
Okay.
And a builder that makes a book details screen.
So I'm inclined to take that out for now. And just assume that we don't. So okay. let's instead just say, well, that's the book page, the board page, board screen.
What is the settings thing? Route settings. Data that might be useful in constructing a route. Oh, is it that it needs to... I'm so confused. I'm sorry, where are you? You're back up here?
You're just trying to complete this build function. I think this build function is now complete.
What's the difference between a material page and a material page route? Okay. Material page flutter.
Okay. We got to the end of the router.dart file.
Which is the page route version of this class. What does that mean? I see, because pages and routes are paired like elements and widgets. It was trying to tell me that in the...
I mean, I have a dream that we sort of copy and paste this into main and it works.
Well, we
like,
could
it's a crazy dream, but...
We could even just leave it here, right, and just import this into main.
Okay. But I think we need to like import material to make all the red lines go away. We need to make up a home screen, unknown screen, and board screen. Those we don't have yet.
Okay. Home screen, unknown screen. Like we could also just steal this one. There's an unknown screen for you.
Okay, so why don't we just make up mocks of these things to see whether this whole thing is working right? So
Sure.
What is our home screen? Home screen is home. Board screen is board. Board screen has a final string ID.
That we can just show in that, right? Okay. So the buttons, they're so hard to press. Okay. Argument string cannot be assigned to the, because this is sometimes a string in the current path.
Oh, I see. Because it doesn't. We've checked that it's just not smart enough to know that is a board page. Yeah.
Fine. I can bang it. Just take out our hammer until it works. Okay.
So we're missing the top matter, like the in the example, it was like the thing that was holding the route information parser and the router delegate.
Yes. What was the thing called? Is it like not router? This thing.
Yeah, the books app. We need the books app.
And this, I think, does belong. Well, maybe not. Who knows? Maybe it belongs here.
This is like the Pangram app.
Okay. This is.
So in theory, now we should be able to run this from main.
Yes, I think we need to. Okay. I think, yes, we can replace main's books app with Pangram app, which is quite right, but.
Okay.
Heart restart. I don't think. Heart restart should work. Home.
Home. Can you edit the URL and say like board 404? Try typing a valid board.
You got an example?
It's just like A:/BCDE, whatever.
I see. You're right. Yeah. A:/BCDE.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's a G. There you go.
Hey.
That's something.
Yeah. It's definitely not nothing. Okay. So we can wire this up. Like, I think this example thing is like removed now, which is good. I mean,
we've excised it. We renamed everything to Pangram or something and declared ourselves geniuses.
All right. So we do need this server and my app. All right. So my app needs to get pulled in here somewhere.
Well, I think the my app we're done with. I think this stuff, we've done all the work here.
Yes.
Oh, the stats page. Okay.
Which is a good test for us whether we know how to do that kind of thing. The stats page, and it also holds onto a server and passes it down into main page.
Right. So I think Pangram app needs to hold on to the server in the new world.
All right. Let's see if we can add. Okay. So we take this and add this to the Pangram app. I presume it goes into the state section. No, it's just. We just hold on to it because main's holding onto it for us.
Mm-hmm.
Is maybe wrong?
I guess we need to import server for to be happy. Okay.
Where do I go? Feed. Okay. And we need to somehow pass that to main page for our material page route. What is main page doing? Sorry, go ahead.
What is main page doing? I think there's no main page is going to be like welcome to Pangram. Like, do you want to play? And there's like a play button. You click on it, that then takes you to a board. So it's going to need the server to figure out what board to send you to.
Okay. Yeah, because right now it does this initial load stuff.
Right. So we don't need that. So let's say welcome to Pangram.
Where are you editing?
I'm just editing the home screen. Can make like a play button. That's a what's a good elevated button? That's a new hotness.
I don't even know. Sure, that sounds right. I don't think we imported material as our problem in life.
So now we need to figure out how to forward. I need a server here.
Oh, I see. And then you need to be able to tell the router to take you there?
I'm going to end up with like a, whatever it is, a pangram. What do we call these things? Pangram path route.
Why is that?
Board.id. I need to like take me to this route.
The handle book tapped.
Handle book tapped. Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, I'm trying to understand what you're. Oh, I see. Let's see where to go. This thing. There's this set new route path. Did we implement this?
Yeah, set new route path for us was pretty trivial.
All right, so this is the handle book path where we set our selection book, we notify listeners.
I feel like there's something simpler that should work here. Like can we just go find our router? Because like if we have a because we have the route for it.
I don't even know how I would search for that.
So is our route path have a superclass at all? Or we just made it up out of whole cloth? We just made it up
route path? A route class, you said?
Yeah.
Route is something provided by the framework.
I see. Okay, so what is follow the pattern from the example? So we need that handle book tapped, like select board. Right, in the example, there was this thing called like book handle book tapped.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we just put that in our system, but call it like show board?
This stock app route delegate state add listener. What is going on? Oh, does the delegate just always have listeners to it?
Yeah, like what if we pass the server to the server here, and we also passed router delegate?
What happens if you just call navigator?
You want to try this? What I just put in here? Can I can show you what I did here?
Sure.
So if you scroll into the home screen, what I did is I passed both the server and the router delegate here.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you press the play button, I asked the server for another board, and I told the router delegate to please show the board.
Okay. And then what is show board here?
Show board basically makes a route path out of the board and then notifies the listeners that this thing changed.
Sure. Seems reasonable. That seems like it will follow the pattern that the.
Yeah, there may be a fancier way to do that that involves a little bit more like using the build context or something to go find things.
Yeah, I would just think that you could do like navigator dot. I don't remember how you get one.
You say like of context.
Next.
Yeah. It'd be easier.
Right. I need to make the error stop here. Server does not exist. Because the router delegate doesn't have a server yet.
I see.
This is text. I'm getting back to that. I'm solving easier errors first.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense.
On pressed is required.
Pressed. Let me comment this out. This is going to generate errors for you too. Yeah.
And fine. I use import path. That's fine. Child properties list. What?
It wants the child to be last.
Oh, okay, fine.
You get like cascades better that way or something.
Who knows? All right, so this is our last error. So somehow home screen, which this is also
past. Yeah.
This can be late though, assuming that the current path is set.
So the router delegate needs a server. That.
Presumably. I don't know how we instantiate this router delegate.
We're going to find out.
Right here.
That has you can say widget.server. Oh, that'll be two.
I mean, you can do it with late potentially. All right, hold on. Oh, I see. When you create the state. Yeah, you can totally do it with late here. The great hack of late. If we do late.
What if late just solves all your problems?
It solves all problems. Why not?
It's like you're in static context or something.
Oh, it's just named. That's all. Late solves all problems.
What? That's amazing.
I learned that hack off of some Reddit post last week. It was great. And it kind of makes sense because the first time it's accessed, it's going to happily just be like, sure, I'll look at my instance variables.
Well, let's try this and see if it works.
Hold on. Navigator key is not initialized.
Oh. Okay.
What was it supposed to be?
Did we mess it up? Oh, I see. If you just look at line 106, this thing already had a constructor. It was just
Okay. Next board is not defined for type server.
what is it called in the server?
Next board.
Oh, okay.
And you can get board for a specific ID.
Yeah, we're going to need that for sure. Right? Should we try it? You think it's going to work? Future. Oh, we need to await.
Which means you need to be in an async concept. Is that going to be kosher?
Oh yeah, this is one of my favorites.
It makes sense. In on-pressed, we don't care, right? We can drop out to the event loop.
Yeah.
Okay. Home.
Oh, it's not supposed to say home. It's supposed to say play.
Oh, we just haven't quite gotten all of our...
Oh, we didn't actually create the server. We passed the server around the entire universe. But we never actually made it.
Okay. Server. This time with feeling and names.
Performing hot restart. Big money.
Oh!
Hey, that was pretty cool.
Hey, yeah. It looks like it works to me. In our last 4 minutes, can we make it display a board? Or we just step along and be patient?
I think so. Well, we have this. We need to pass the server to the board screen. And then we need to use a bunch of our stuff from main to actually use the server to go get the actual board, and then use a bunch of our stuff from main to actually show it. Yeah, it's cool. We just need to pass in the server.
You're typing somewhere. I can't tell where, but that's fine.
I'm just on board screen adding the server to it.
I'm adding server as well. Okay.
And then somewhere in main.dart, we actually have some UI code that can do something with the board.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure this is gonna have to be a stateful widget. Do you want to convert it to a stateful widget?
Using the power of this initial load inside board page state.
Yeah, this is the stuff that we need.
Well, do we just want this?
No,
because it's all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, the thing we're building in router.dart is a much more beautifully structured app than what we had before. We just want to find the actual thing in here that shows the board.
Yeah,
I think we want Pangram game is the widget we want.
Okay.
Yeah, this takes a game state and a win callback. That looks pretty good.
Okay.
So how do we make a game state?
It should just be called game, but I named it poorly. We just create it right there, straight up. You just call game state around board.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
So, okay, I can make board screen stateful. Whoops. Done.
Right, because it's going to hold. Okay, so it needs to create a game state on its initial load, starting with the ID.
So it basically wants part of this one.
Right, so I'm gonna.
It wants this like initial load. It wants this initial load stuff, right?
Let's not do the save game stuff. Let's just do the very simple, just instantiate the game state from the board. We'll do the save game stuff.
Yeah. Another time.
Another time.
Are you copy pasting or am I?
No, why don't you do it?
Okay. But we do need we need this dance. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know if that's the right way to do that dance, but
Not sure
I'm
actually.
tall and I can trim.
Game.
I don't need to do the saving.
Game. One win.
Are we doing the status playing and stuff? No.
No. That's all got handled by the router.
Oh, I see, because we validated that it.
Yeah, that it's like legit.
And are we setting our state like this? We don't need to do this. We need this to have game here. Game state game.
Yeah, so we don't need this here.
Does that need to be question marked?
Yes, because it might not be loaded yet.
Well, you can also do late, right?
Well, but we actually need to show something while we're talking to the server.
I see. So then this needs to be game equal to null text loading. This doesn't make sense. It should not be. Should not need that to be banged there, but it's fine.
We could capture it in a local if you want to avoid that.
Oh, I see. So what happens if the server fails to get the board? This is the loading stuff. This is all code that we wrote before.
Yeah, but we'll need that as well. But I think just if we. If board n equals null. Oh, I see. Yeah. I think this should work.
This is supposed to actually still have a question mark. Just when you check it.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Performing hot restart. Play the game. Oh! Amazing.
Wow, I have not looked at this in forever. Lively. Ta-da! Oh, 261.
We'll be here for a while. That's cool. I feel like there's like some polish, but I think we got the we lived the dream that we set out to live. Because you can share that on Twitter, right? Like that's a shareable link.
We lived the dream.
The host part, but
yeah, I'd have to check and deploy, which I can do after the show, and then I can actually tweet out a board. This, yeah, where
good time.
This works. Oh.
I felt like it was a mad dash at the end, but that's part of the fun of it.
There was a little bit of dashing, a little bit of mad, but this was good. And as always, it's excellent to see you.
Very good to see you.
I guess next week, I guess we'll push it a little further. We'll see where we can go.
Yeah, I think we should polish it up a little bit. I think there's some like error conditions we did a lot better job handling before.
Yeah, the previous thing was more stable, but yeah, I think I can commit this and push it and be able to tweet a board URL, which is not nothing. So anyways, wonderful to see you as always, Dr. Barth.
See you next week.
See you next week.